Wait, oh, he thinks the swap was bad?
It's not exactly goofy, but the more I read about it, the wackier it becomes and the more unbelievable the story is. I'm sure you've seen all the headlines by now that Brittney Griner is being exchanged for a Russian criminal known as the Merchant of Death. Now, I'll go ahead and bring you up to speed on the lore if you don't know exactly what this is referring to. Brittney Griner was one of the best WNBA players in the league, and she was detained in Russia on drug charges about 10 months ago. The drug charges were super minor. It was like 2 tiddlywinks of weed. They basically threw her in the slammer for thinking about marijuana. The actual story was they came after her for smuggling because they found vaporizer cartridges on her person which contained less than a gram of hash oil. So
You had a worse take? Bro, these dudes need to listen to my takes on some of this stuff. I swear to God.
super trivial amount, really. You'd find more devil's lettuce in a church bathroom. She wasn't exactly some drug kingpin who was trying to escape the country.
But I mean, so far he's better than like 90% of fucking weirdos.
Duffel bag full of jazz cabbage. It was very small stuff. She was detained and thrown into a labor camp for the last 10 months. And since then, the US has been working to try and set up a trade with Russia to get her back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tackle this complicated issue real quick, just right away, because I've seen so many people mention this, that this same thing would happen in America for the same level of, possession. People in America get thrown in jail for years for very minor drug charges. And you're right. That's horrible, too. It's horrible when it happens in America. It's horrible that it happened to Brittney Griner in Russia. They can both be terrible together. I think we can all agree on that. That's not some big gotcha moment. Now, getting back on topic, today the U.S. has finalized the trade agreeing to swap Victor Bout, the Merchant of Death, for Brittney Griner. And a lot of people have been scratching their heads saying that this seems like an unfair trade, a pretty lopsided deal, because the Merchant of Death isn't exactly some lightweight. And that title alone is scary. That's like releasing Cobra Commander, like freeing him from the G.I. Joe prison. This isn't just some nobody. This is a very, very well-known arms dealer. In fact, they have a whole goddamn movie about this guy called...
The funny part about it is that, like, how little people understand how this stuff works. XG was very strong on the do the crime, do the time. Yeah, the time being, okay, the most effective counter to that is the time is 15 days in jail. So... why is it that, like, even if we were to look at the legality of the situation from a pure, like, legal standpoint, which is no substitute for morality, it's immoral when it happens in America, it's immoral when it happens in Russia, obviously. But even if you were to look at it from, like, the legality standpoint, you have to recognize, unless you are, you've been duped into believing your position from, Reddit takes or whatever, that, like, she should have been in jail maximum for 15 fucking days. Or in most cases, you just pay a fucking fine and you don't even serve a single day in prison. So why did that happen? Well, because it was political. And everybody pretty much understands that it was a political kidnapping, pretty much. He was a political prisoner. I don't think that, like, XQC is in the same vein as, like, some of these other fucking freakazoids. I think he probably just saw... the same takes that many of you did when you came in here to repeat them and just repeated it, you know what I mean? Without, like, really recognizing the background of it. XU literally said the morality does not equal legality argument before. Weird for him to take that take. I mean, you just send me whatever he said and we can look at it. You give XU too much credit, to be honest. First of all, I know him in person. I know him in real life. And oftentimes he does have pretty solidly progressive takes on issues like this. So, yes, the charitability in that circumstance is literally because the overwhelming majority of mainstream thought on the issue, including motherfuckers in this chat, okay, who have come in here multiple times to, like, debate these talking points over and over again, is that, do the crime, do the time. That's just how Americans are usually. That's how Westerners are in general. They're very draconian. Especially Americans. I didn't realize how minor Bout's role in trafficking was until you, Felix, and the Aussies broke down the 60 Minutes piece fawning over the feds. Yeah. No, Victor Bout is if you want to know who the big traffickers are, it's America. It's the American State Department. They're so big that they were working with Victor Bout. But I don't even expect many people to know that. I expect people at least to recognize that like Brittney Griner was a political prisoner and it was adequate to make a swap to get her out when she did not deserve to be in prison in the first place.
Lord of War, starring Nicolas Cage. This isn't some small fry, not some faceless old pop Wiggleberry that was convicted for kegeling heroin. Like, this is a big deal. Now, of course, I do agree that this was a wrongful conviction. Brittney Griner's punishment didn't fit her crime. This was pretty outrageous. Like, yes, I understand, like, a law was broken, but this kind of enforcement of it is absurd. And I think getting her out is great, but I do agree with a lot of people that are wondering, could we have got more for this trade? Like, right now, there are still 2 other...
Like this is Charlie's take on this is most likely going to be informed by what he has seen, and I don't fault him for this. There's a consensus on a lot of this stuff, right? Americans have a consensus on like, oh, that's a Marine. A Marine is in jail. Like they don't look at it as like, well, this is a guy who was definitely doing espionage. You know what I mean? They don't think about that. They're like, oh, well, that's a Marine. He's good automatically, right? They don't know that he was like dishonorably discharged. Not that it even fucking matters in the situation. Like even if Brittney Griner, let's say, was a former Marine and was dishonorably discharged, she still didn't deserve to go to prison, right? Like over fucking weed cartridge. Whereas Paul Whelan, way more understandable that he would go to prison. If you fucking get caught doing espionage, you're gonna go to prison. Like it's the most normal thing that will ever happen. And I have this exact same energy for the people who are doing it against America too. Like, don't get caught, motherfucker. That's the point. I like my spies to not be caught on all sides. Okay? Charlie probably has no idea on that, and his chat definitely doesn't. Yeah, I'm not even like faulting him for that though, because he probably sees like, oh, well, this Marine was arrested, and that's it. Yet the hate for returning an arms dealer isn't negated if a Marine is exchanged. Griner and Whelan are the same. No, they're not the same. Griner didn't deserve to be in prison. Paul Whelan did, like straight up. There is a consensus among everyone, including Paul Whelan's family, okay, that like if you're doing spy shit in another country, and it doesn't matter if it's a Chinese spy in America, doesn't matter if it's a Russian spy in America, like Marina Butina, I had this exact same energy for her as well. If you're doing this spy shit, okay, in a foreign nation, yes, you are going, if you get caught, you're going to go to jail. Like, it is like Spy 101. Like, spy kids would understand this most basic concept. One person literally was invited into the country, okay, and didn't do anything all that insane. It was, like, completely within the bounds of reason and was unjustifiably arrested for it. The other person was a spy. Anyway. That's like kind of the risk when you're signing up for the job. So that's how it works. Anyway.
U.S. citizens that are imprisoned in Russia. And we just gave up like our biggest Yu-Gi-Oh card here to barter with. Could we have maybe grouped them all together? Be like, we'll give you the Merchant of Death. We'll give you the super duper ultra rare prisoner if you give us all 3 of your prisoners of ours. Like, I feel like that would have been a much more fair deal.
The biggest L taker in the situation is Mark Fogel, right? Like, I mean, he was also like teaching diplomats children and shit like that, so there's a little bit of sussiness there, but like ultimately it seems like he just got clapped in this and no one is trading him. You know what I mean? What's going on? Like, what's happening there? Like, what? No one even talked about him. Now people are bringing up Mark Fogel because, like, you know, people are bringing up Mark Fogel now because, like, they're just, like, looking for someone else to be like, whoa, this could have been traded in, too.
Like, right now, there's a Marine sitting in there that's been there since 2018. Like, I definitely feel like maybe we could have played this a little bit better. Now, of course, I'm not looking at the deeper political...
Also, they have been trying. Charlie probably doesn't know this either. Not only have they been trying, but the Trump administration also started talks. Like, it's super normal when one of your spies gets caught that your government tries to you know, retrieve said spy, depending on like what level of importance that spy has, obviously, or what level of crime that they've been engaging in. Like, yeah, the Biden administration brought that up as well, obviously, and the Russians were like, no.
Whole motivations and angles to a negotiation like this. I'm not here to dissect the inner machinations of this kind of swap. I'm looking at this as a pure layman reptile brain. And to me, while I'm happy that she's been able to return to the US, I would have liked to have seen that for the other two victims there. I would really like if we made the same level of effort to bring them home as well. And I feel like this could have been a great opportunity for it.
You know what I would have wanted the effort to go to? Bringing football home for England, okay? Why is nobody talking about that? Why? It's coming home, lad. It's coming fucking home, lads. It would have been coming home, and it's not coming home.
Since they were...
Harry Kane!
Goddamn merchant of death. Like, just imagine the perspective of the Marine that's currently there for the last 4 years. You know, he hears Brittney Griner got released in a prisoner swap. He's like, oh, who did they trade? The fucking merchant of death. And then, like, well, who are they? Are they trying to get me out? Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think that the media hyping Bout as the guy who single-handedly runs all gun trafficking everywhere also plays a role here. Yeah, he was. He was running gun trafficking for America. You don't get to be the biggest gun runner on the planet, or one of the biggest gun runners on the planet, without working with the biggest gun runner on the planet, which is the United States of America. And that's it.
Yeah, they are. Well, who are they willing to trade? Oh, just some like Russian dude who stole a pack of cigarettes from a gas station. For some reason, the Russian government's not taking that trade though, but they're doing their best. Like, I think this was a good opportunity to swing for the fences, get the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, I love Charlie's takes on stuff like this because it's great to see like what Normans think about shit like this. Someone in the chat also brought this up. It's very interesting to see a relative normie like Charlie absolutely eating up the merchant of death manufacturer consent narrative regardless of accuracy. Yeah. He just like, this is what happens. But it's totally normal. It is so normal to just like, to have takes like this. I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than like, this is how profoundly powerful American media is in changing people's minds. Like, you're watching it, you're seeing it.
Grab the other two prisoners as well in this swap. That seems like a much like more even deal, if you ask me. You get all of the U.S. Citizens that are held captive in Russia right now out all at once in one fell swoop. Of course, I'm just a pea-brain fucking idiot, so perhaps that pipe dream was never an actual possibility, but, you know, to me, it sounds like it could have been feasible. Like, get Saul Goodman on the line and work the deal. Like, it just seems like the merchant...
I like the armchair quarterbacking of, like, the State Department, though, where it's like, or what is it called? Like, Monday morning quarterbacking? Where it's like, come on, why didn't they get more for the deal? Like, I would have done differently. Dude, if it were me, dude, I would have fucking brought in someone way smarter. I would have brought in someone way better to do that, to execute that trade. All the prisoners, you get all of them. The ones in the prison, all for one for all. Marine in there, 2 is greater than 1. Get them all. I got Chuds arguing that Victor is basically super Hitler. What sources can I use to show that this guy was also our guy? Literally look up Victor Bout, Iraq, roots, like Iraq trade routes, and you will find that the American government throughout its entire Iraq invasion utilized Victor Bout's planes regularly. Okay, you do not get to operate internationally as an arms dealer without the American State Department's go-ahead. You do not get to operate without the American State Department also working with you. You do not get to Victor Bout's position without just doing that. That's just how it works. Why does Russia even want Boot back? I mean, dude, it's a big dub. It makes them, they can do propaganda off of it. They can say that it's like the absolute best thing. You know, they can say the same things that Americans are saying right now, literally on the other side, and be like, look how great we are at negotiating. Like, we just gave them back, Brittney Griner, who was just like arrested under, bullshit charges, and we got a hero back. Here's some propaganda that pushed out already. Bro, I fucking called this. Warger, you know this already. You're in that side of the world anyway. But I fucking called this from a mile away. I told you they were gonna do this. They were gonna parade him around, make him into like the hero, and put him into every fucking media outlet, and say like he's such a goated hero for Russia that they brought back. They literally had a Marina Butina conversation in English, so that like this is for Russians to consume. We already saw the American version of this. They already cut the first video that they cut was literally in English. Okay, think. Why did they do that? The first video that they cut after Victor Bout's release, okay, going into Russia was in English. He did a sit down on Russia Today in English with Marina Butina.
Хотя не удивило то, что обменяли Бута все-таки на Грайнер, а не на Уилма. Я, во-первых, поздравляю Бута, поздравляю всю его семью. Мы много лет были на связи с его семьей, насколько было это возможно с ним самим, как-то, насколько это было возможно, общались. Это, конечно, огромная радость, облегчение для всех.
Who was Marina Butina again? Marina Butina was a very effective Russian spy that was able to completely infiltrate the entirety, up and down, all the way to the presidency, the Republican Party, by presenting herself as a, you might have guessed it, NRA lobbyist. She was a gun rights advocate and was able to, not Marina, sorry, Maria.
Нас, ну для всех нас, ладно, что это для семьи, я даже не могу себе представить.
Isn't it Marina?
Но то, что его обменяли...
Oh, it is Maria Butina, sorry, not Marina.
Не,
My bad.
ведь он же разведчик. Уиллан, да? Он разведчик. Его приняли, что называется, при передаче информации на флешке. Он там рассказывал, что это он на флешке хотел, вот ему должны были фотографии церквей Сергеева Посада передать на флешке. Фотографии церквей по WhatsApp друг другу передают. Правда же, как мы берем? Смотри, где я был.
Bro, Paul Whelan is the worst spy, bro. They're just making fun of him now. Imagine getting clapped up like this. And then having like Russian state media make fun of you. That's pretty funny.
Для этого флешку не приносит. Вполне себе нормального качества, не хуже, чем на флешке. Он разведчик. Ну, для нас он шпион, для них он разведчик, то есть герой. Он морпех. Он увешан орденами. У него одна проблема, две. Проблема первая, три. Проблема первая, он белый. Вторая, он мужчина. Третий, он, судя по всему, все-таки гетеро. Знаешь, а этого сейчас вообще не прощают. Это катастрофа.
Не, ну Грайнер здесь...
It's so funny watching their fucking conservatives talk about the exact same things that our conservatives talk about, just in Russian. I love that. He's white, male, heterosexual man. That's a crime in America. I love that, dude. That's great. That's good content.
И как может американскому избирателю дали выбор? Герой, пострадавший на службе Отечеству. Он же по службе пострадал. Герой, увешанный орденами, пострадавший за то, что он работал на свою родину, на США. Или чернокожая лесбиянка, наркозависимая, пострадавшая за какой-то...
Bro, this is literally like Dan Bongino. You know what I mean? This argument is unironically, how many times have you heard this exact thing verbatim from conservatives in America so far? Oh, she's a drugged out lesbian black woman, hates America, you know? What the fuck? That's the only thing she hasn't mentioned. That's the only thing she has not mentioned yet is that she fucking hates America. That's awesome. I love stuff like this because, once again, I mean, this is Russian, so this is not for American consumption, for the record. Like, this is for Russia's internal consumption, so it's a little bit more honest, okay? A TV station is basically OAN in Russia. They will say wild shit like our news all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is for the Russian conservatives, okay? This one is for the Russian conservatives. They've been doing more and more culture shit as years ago. This is Margarita Simonian, editor-in-chief of Russia Today. Anyway, my point was, this is in Russian. What is the significance of that? This is right-wing Russian news for Russian consumption. This is not for American consumption. So they're being honest about how they feel. Sometimes if it's like made, if you see Russian news in English, know that it is supposed to, they want you to hear that. Okay, they don't care if other people hear this as well, but like understand that the reason why I'm hyper focusing on this part of it, okay? The reason why I'm hyper focusing on that part of it is because conservatives in Russia have the same takes that conservatives in America do. Conservatives are more of a monolith than progressives are, okay?
Какой-то вейп с гашишем. Американский
И
избиратель...
очень известны.
Да.
Очень известны. То есть в пиаровском плане...
Американский избиратель выбирает очевидное. И я считаю, что для нас это вторая хорошая новость. Первая
I think the
хорошая
first good news
новость,
is that
что
Bout
Буш
has
вернулся,
returned.
а вторая
And
хорошая
the second
новость,
good news
что
is that a nation
нация, которой до такой степени наплевать на своих героев, что она
that
считает
spits
значительно
on
более
its heroes
важным
to the extent
вызволить
that it
действительно
considers it
за
significantly
дело
more important
пострадавшую.
for to free a rightfully charged well-known athlete.
Но она пострадала
She
не за
didn't
то, что
suffer
на
because she
родине
served her
служила, за то, что
motherland,
она гашиш свой не могла без
but
него
because
там
she
10
couldn't
часов
live for
обойтись
10
или
hours
сколько,
without
да?
hashish.
Да? Вместо того, чтобы вызволить человека, который 2 года уже сидит на секундочку, и который родине служил, и за это служить, это о многом говорит. Это много говорит о состоянии этого общества, этих спецслужб и всего того, что
Of these
имеет
intelligence
отношение
agencies
к
and everything related to geopolitical
противостоянию
confrontation. I am Russian, and American culture war is very popular propaganda tool here. They just banned all LGBT representation. They always say that we fight with the devil and dark gay forces. Rotting West? What does that mean? Gay agenda. Oh, rotting West. Gay agenda. Putin even talked about the trans agenda in war speeches. Yeah, I know. Yeah. America's greatest export will always be cultural imperialism. They will always be able to conduct that really adequately and really successfully, okay? And they are doing that. And this is basically the example of that. It's ironic, but it's also not new. Like a lot of the homophobic sentiment, which now people think is like, a lot of people think that like homophobia is like a Eastern value, like they're so barbaric, like they're just so bad to gay people. But like historically speaking, that attitude against like homosexuality, considering it something to be like evil and different than just a normal way of existence, okay, is unironically in many instances a Western invention. And even if it's not a Western invention, it is simply a conservative invention. It is a conservative take.
Of death had a lot of weight for bargaining. That's just how it appears to me. Now, if you thought that's where this story ends, you're a damn fool, because there was a massive plot twist nobody saw coming. Vin Diesel may have played a role in this. He may have been the one that actually
Comrade
saved
Luffy!
the day.
Oh my God, that's so sick. That puts a fucking smile on my face thinking about Monkey D. Luffy as a socialist. Anyway, thank you for the 5 get the subs, Comrade Luffy.
Here, a lot of people are praising him for an Instagram post he allegedly made last month, where he had a picture of himself at a Lakers game giving a thumbs up with the caption,
I gotta pee, I'll be back.
Need Brittney Griner home before Christmas. Now, when I first read about all this, I assumed this was a fake screenshot. I mean, it doesn't even have a verified check mark on his name. It just seems like a meme that was made to troll and get a little goofy on Twitter. But Rolling Stone and Yahoo both seem to think that this was a real post Vin Diesel made and then deleted shortly thereafter. So who really fucking knows, honestly? I just love to toy around with that fan fiction that Vin Diesel somehow scared the Russian government into accepting a trade to get Brittney Griner home after he made his Instagram post. Like they're all just panicking at the headquarters, going from phone to phone. No, I saw it. No, I saw it. Yep, I know. Jesus Christ, I understand. It's all gonna burn down. Vin Diesel's gonna come over here with his goddamn Dodge Charger, and he's gonna kick our ass. He's gonna beat our fucking ass. It's just such an entertaining idea that they never had any intention of ever trading Brittney Griner until Vin Diesel made his post, and they're like, oh my god, we're on a tight time crunch now. Now we're on the clock. This is a cutthroat schedule. Vin Diesel wants her home by Christmas. Okay, get the Americans on the line. We'll orchestrate a trade ASAP. We cannot allow Mr. Diesel to get involved in this. like that is just so like amazing to think about. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this situation a little bit because it's a pretty wild one, and Really, that's about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie's take is like the Norman take, which is, I love watching stuff like that. I love hearing from XQC. I love hearing from Charlie and everyone else who otherwise do like YouTube commentary and culture commentary. When they talk about like political things such as this, I love hearing the normie take because like oftentimes it is instructive. Like, I'm not going to get that in my chat. I mean, I do sometimes get it in my chat and I fucking freak out on you guys because I expect you to know more and do better. But, you know, a lot of you had that exact same take that Charlie had until I fucking screamed at another one in the chat who was like brave enough to come in and say some snarky shit in an identical capacity. Okay.